DreAllDay.com.
You're now tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day, to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. That is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then we put all this together into a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, and techniques all underneath the umbrella of one unifying philosophy that is called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic is, we are going into part 3 of our now concluding mini-series as to why I am not a politician. So if you have not heard part 1 and part 2 of this series, where I have laid the groundwork for what is going to be expressed here in part 3, make sure you go listen to the previous 2 episodes of this masterclass so you are not lost as to what I am talking about and why I'm talking about it. So we are pick up right where we left off. Without further ado, at point number 7. Again, the topic, why I'm not a politician. Number 7, limited income potential compared to entrepreneurship. There is one main mandate that an entrepreneur has, or a business owner has, which is to increase the value of the business for the shareholders. In other words, to make the people who own the business more money. That's the reason why you start a business, is to make money. Now, there may be other things you want to do with the business, but the main objective of a business is to make money. Now, that doesn't mean you do everything for money. You sacrifice everything in the pursuit of money, but one of the aims of owning a business is to make money. That's one of your mandates when you own a business. And I'm saying all that to say this. If I were to get into politics, I could not spend time running my business, because politics I could not spend time running my business because I'll be serving the people, allegedly, if I'm in politics. And on top of that, politics do not offer unlimited income potential the way that the business does. All right? When you're in politics, there is a cap on your income. Well, at least there's supposed to be, because there's a stated salary that you can earn when you're in politics. Now, there are other ways politicians make money, which we're not going to get into here today, which is one of the main reasons why they stay in it, if you ask me. But that's not the topic here today. Based on the way the rules are laid out, there's a certain amount of money you make. It's a job when you work in politics. When you are an entrepreneur, you have unlimited income potential. The trade-off of that unlimited income potential is that you are not guaranteed a floor. You're also not limited to a ceiling. When you have a job, there's a ceiling, but there's also a floor. I'd rather get rid of the floor and the ceiling to have an unlimited ceiling. I'll get rid of the floor rather than have an unlimited ceiling. That's the trade-off of security for freedom. Everybody understand? So if I'm in politics, I can't run my business and I got a floor on my income. A ceiling, on my income. Business does not have a ceiling. Doesn't have a floor either. I would rather take my chances running a business and either trying to get rich or staying rich as a business owner than to be a politician and have my income potentially stifled by the rules set by the government that mandates how much I make. I'd rather take my chances and I'll make all or nothing than have a set amount, especially with all the other things I've already told you. All this in order to have a limited salary, a ceiling on how much money I can make. Are you joking? No, I'm not signing up for that. Would you sign up for that? I mean, I find it interesting that people who actually sign up for this. But actually, I know why they sign up for it. They do not have the ability to do what I do in business. Is the reason why they get in politics. That's a different conversation for a different day, maybe. While I do want to help as many people as possible who want to be helped, all right, I could do that as a politician. I could do it as a school teacher. I could do it doing what I'm doing now. There are some things that I am not willing to sacrifice in order to help people. This has to be made clear. There are some things I'm not willing to sacrifice to help people. I want to help people, but I'm not willing to sacrifice that in order to help people. One of those things that I want to sacrifice is my potential for return on what I produce. I don't want to limit myself. I can help people by being a third grade teacher. The problem is there's a limit on how much money I can make as a third grade teacher. But if I teach third graders through a business that I own, now there's no limit on how much money I can make. Again, no floor, but also no limit, no ceiling. So I will have to help everybody who I'm going to help through reaching them through my process and my way of doing things, then going through the channels of others who are in a similar and parallel lane, but not by getting into politics. I'm not willing to get into politics in order to help people. So there are some people who go into the public sector because they want to help people. I remember a cop told me he became a cop because he wanted to help people. And it's interesting that he said that. I don't know if he was telling the truth, but that's what he said. And there are politicians who get into politics because they claim that they want to help people. And again, I already told you all politicians are liars. Doesn't mean that specifically was a lie, but I believe half of what I see and none of what I hear from a politician. And the thing is, they're getting into a lane in which there is a floor, but there's also a ceiling. And you got to deal with all these other things that I already told you about, and dealing with people who you don't really like, and half the people not liking anything that you do, and all the system of checks and balances, and this stressful deal of having to go along with stuff you don't want to go along with, and all these other things I've told you over the first 6 points of this series. All of that in order to have my income potential limited. My answer to that is hell no. Hell no, I'm not doing it. Moving on to point number 8. Today's topic, once again, is why I'm not a politician. Number 8, everybody's in your business when you're a politician. I don't want everybody in my business. When you get into politics, you have to disclose damn near everything about you. And anything you don't disclose, they're going to find out anyway. The government can find out whatever they want about you if they so choose. You have to disclose everything you've ever done, everywhere you've ever been, everyone you've ever come in contact with. Somehow, some way, they find out about it. Everything you've ever done, somehow they find out about it. I don't know if I want that level of scrutiny on me from the government. Personally, I just don't know. We know the government is watching us. All of you know that, right? All of you know that the government is watching everything that you do. They can pretty much find out anything they want about any one of us anytime that they wish. If you didn't know that, now you know it. I was on my live stream just this morning when I'm recording this, and someone was talking about, I can't remember what the person was referring to, but they were saying that, I can't remember what they were saying. They were saying something about privacy and not having their privacy exposed. Actually, I know what it was. It was the situation about a woman who claimed that she was being doxxed. And doxxed means someone finds out you're a private citizen who nobody knows who you are, but all of a sudden, because your name is trending, somebody finds out all your personal information, like who you are, where you live, who are your siblings, who are your family, what are your kids' names, where do you work, what's your address. And they put all that stuff on the internet as a way of kind of exposing and threatening you in a passive way that all your information is on the internet. So now everybody knows where you're at and you feel threatened because that occurred. And someone was saying, well, yeah, I want my privacy exposed. One of the commentators said, I want my privacy exposed. And I said to them, same thing I'll say to all of you, your privacy is already exposed. Every one of you, there are people out there who you don't know, who know where you live. They know your government name. They know the names of your kids. They know the names of your spouse. They know where you work, know what kind of car you drive. They know a whole lot of things about you that you didn't think they knew. And they have access to all that information about you. The only reason the whole world doesn't know about it is because the whole world has not been given a reason to want to expose your information to everybody else. In other words, your name is not a trending topic. Your name hasn't gone viral, so nobody has cared to expose the information. But if your name does go viral, there are people out there who will expose this information. I guarantee it's going to happen. Your information is not private. As soon as you sign up for a social media application, you've given up your privacy. If you have a Google account and you use Google Maps and Gmail, you have no privacy. Let me tell you something I was thinking about the other day. I was driving and I was on Google Maps and I'm looking at Google Maps navigation on the screen while I'm on the car screen while I'm driving in my car. And Google Maps is showing that there's a lot of congestion at this intersection that I was coming up on. And I'm thinking to myself, how does Google Maps know in real time how much traffic there is? Do they have cameras up looking at us at all times? Do they have satellites just watching the streets? And it's probably the answer to both of those is probably yes. I don't know in detail. But also, here's the other thing that they know. And this is what I thought about in a moment. That wait a minute, I'm using Google Maps. I'm logged into a Google account while using Google Maps. And I'm driving up to this intersection, which means Google knows exactly where the fuck I'm at all times. Because my Google Maps is always on. And it is tracking exactly where I'm at. When I'm driving, Google Maps is showing me on the same street that I'm driving on. It knows I'm there. Everybody else around me is probably also using Google Maps. So everybody is telling Google exactly where they are. And Google, if subpoenaed by the government, can give up all this information. The government can know exactly where you at, exactly where you go, when you go there, what time you go there, how long it takes you to go there, how fast you must be driving. They know everything about you. All your information is already out there. And if you're on social media, they know what you're looking at. They know what you're posting. They know who you're DMing. They know what you're saying. They know what DMs you ignore, which ones you respond to. They know everything. They know the accounts you look at and don't follow. They know everything that you're doing. They are tracking every single thing that you do. How many of you ever had the experience of talking to somebody offline about something, then you got on your phone and you saw ads online about the thing that you were talking about and you weren't even on your phone when you talked about it? And you're like, wait a minute, is this phone listening to me? Any of you ever had that phenomenon happen? It's not a phenomenon. All right, they're fucking listening to you. They know what you're doing. All right, that's not a phenomenon, folks. All right, they know what you're doing. All right, if you have Siri turned on your phone, understand that the phone has now been given the authority to listen to every single thing that you say. Just because it's not telling you that it's listening, as soon as you turn on Siri and Siri is activated and you say, hey Siri, and it starts responding, or you hold the button on your phone and Siri comes on, that means the phone has permission to listen to every single thing you say. Y'all didn't know that? If you have an Amazon, what's the Amazon thing you put in your house? what's the name? I forgot the name of that thing. Whatever that Amazon thing is that you put in your house and you say something and Amazon just does it. It plays a song or orders some paper towels for you, whatever the fuck it does. Whatever that thing is called. Okay, you have given a device. You put you basically put a spying device in your fucking house and said, Amazon, just listen to everything that's going on in my house. Are you serious? I know some of you own that Amazon device, whatever that thing is called. Are you serious? You just gave Amazon permission to listen to every single thing that you say that goes on in your house and send it back to Amazon. And yeah, I know the privacy rule says we will never share your information and we have to delete everything we hear that is not directly related. Do you believe that? Do you trust them? I don't. I got Siri turned off on my phone. Siri's not on any of my devices. All right. Hey Siri, hey Siri, hey Siri. All right, so I got 2 phones here. I got a tablet, I got a Mac, I got an Apple Watch, and you notice you ain't hear no sounds when I just said, hey Siri. Why? Because Siri has not authorized to listen to me, but guess what? They're still listening anyway. They're still listening. I know they're still listening anyway. Apple, I know you're listening to what I'm saying here. Stop listening to my fucking conversations. All right, they're listening anyway. So none of you has privacy. All right, that's the point. Okay, and if you get into politics, you're asking the whole country to know about everything that has already been collected. Now you're just asking the whole country to know about it because now everybody knows your name. Now people are interested in who you are. Now see, there's a bunch of people in America who are not interested in Dre Baldwin because they never heard of me and they have no reason to hear of me. But if I get into politics and I run for mayor or governor or Congress or president, now a whole bunch of people now know about me. Now they're going to start Googling me, and all that private information that has already been exposed to a small group of people who know about it, now everybody's looking for it, and now it's going to get widespread exposed. That's what would actually happen if you get into politics. That's the way it actually works. But none of you is private. Okay, you have an Instagram account or a TikTok or a Facebook or a Google, you ain't private. In case you didn't know. The government's already watching you. They know exactly where you're at. They know where you're going. You're being surveilled. If you go outside, especially if you live in a city, you are being filmed. You might not see the camera. It doesn't mean you're not being filmed. You are being filmed. Okay. If you drive a car, they know where you're at. You have Google on your phone. They know exactly where you're at. Literally exactly where you're at. Okay. How you think they caught all the people at January 6th? All right. All they did was use data to find out whose phone was in Washington, D.C. around the Capitol on January 6th, who was in Washington, D.C. period, January 6th. And they went and tracked down every single person and just to see, all right, what were you doing in D.C. on January 6th? I know people who were in D.C. on January 6th who didn't do anything, didn't get arrested, didn't get charged, but they got a visit from the FBI. Why? Because the FBI knew by looking at phone data that you were in D.C. on January 6th, even though you live in Louisville, Kentucky. They tracked that phone back to Louisville, Kentucky and came and knocked on your door and said, what were you doing there? Just to let you know that they knew that you were there. And you think you're private and you're using Facebook every day? Are you serious? So anyway, if I were to get voluntarily involved in politics, that means I'm asking the world to look into my life, people who I never even met to look into my life, find out all of my business, and now they know about it. And if they want to use it in a negative way, they can. I'm asking for that. Again, would you ask for this? I wouldn't. I don't know if getting into politics is worth that trade-off. Okay? Let alone if anything comes out or gets into the hands of someone who wants to make me look bad, they might be able to find some stuff. If they just want to make me look bad, they can find something, or they can find somebody willing to say something that makes me look bad, even if it ain't true. I'm better off taking my chances of that happening randomly, doing what I'm doing now, than me volunteering to have it happen. If I got into politics, I'm volunteering for that. Point number 9. Today's topic, once again, is why I would never get into politics. Number 9, logical fallacies abound. Now, here's the thing about logical fallacies. You've heard me talk about it a few times here on this show. I talked about common logical fallacies, and I talked about why people tend to use logical fallacies. When you get into politics, as I already told you, there'll be a faction of people who disagree with you, don't like you, and they will try to stifle you just because of what side you have chosen, because of what party you're a part of, and whoever you choose to make friends with. All right, there will be people who attack you just because of that. Fellow politicians will attack you, people in the media will attack you, social media influencers will attack you, and citizens will attack you simply because they don't like who you are, what you stand for, or who you stand with. This is guaranteed to occur. Okay, you cannot avoid this. And they will start attacking, and because of this, they will start attacking you. Not your position, not the bill or law that you stand for, not the initiative that you are supporting. They will start attacking you personally. They'll start attacking you. Rather than attacking your points or policies or what you're doing, they will attack you as a person if they feel strongly enough about what you're about, or they can come up with a moral justification for what you're doing. For example, there's a lot of people out there who are standing next to Donald Trump, who a lot of people really don't like. And if you're standing next to Donald Trump, that provides a certain faction of people enough moral standing upon which they have a reason that they can justify in their own minds to attack you on a personal level because you're standing with a person who is all about hurting people and about hate and about racism and xenophobia, and anyone who has conditioned themselves to believe that to be true, they can morally say it is right for me to attack anyone who stands next to this guy because this guy is all about terrible, bad things. Not I disagree with his politics. He's about terrible, bad things. So if you stand next to him, I have justification morally in my own mind to attack you on any level necessary because I made it okay in my own mind. And when people get involved in politics, there are people who will feel that way about you for no other reason than they have convinced themselves that it's justified. And there's nothing you can do to change their minds. That guy who tried to shoot Donald Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania, somehow, some way, in his mind, he justified that made sense. Again, it's not about whether you agree or not. It's did he justify it? The answer is yes, he did. That's why he did it. Or at least that's why he tried it. He justified it. So what it means is people are going to start attacking you personally rather than attacking your points or policies or anything you're trying to do. And it becomes more about attacking you as an individual than it is about attacking what you're actually doing. So now you're being personally attacked because you decided to get into politics allegedly to help people. Who signs up for this? It turns personal. And as I just told you in the previous point, people might get personal in attacking me because of something that I say here on the show or something I do goes viral. It can happen. I've been personally attacked for things that I've said on the internet in my years online. But why would I volunteer myself and just say, hey, everybody, I'm making myself a target? If I get into politics, that's what I'm asking for. Now, if I keep doing what I'm doing here on this show, some random straggler may come across me and take something out of context and try to make it go viral and get people to attack me. But at least then it happened like I wasn't planning for it. I get into politics, I'm asking for it. You get into politics, you're asking to be a target. And again, why would I do this to get involved in a game in which all of these other things I don't consider good points? I wouldn't do this. But there are some people who do it anyway because they will take all these things into account and say, oh, I'm doing it anyway. One thing I've explained to my live stream audience is that many people going into politics don't have any better options. I told you this earlier. Many people who go into politics, they don't have any better career options than politics. That's why they go into politics. I got better career options. That's why I'm not a politician. If I didn't have any better options, I might become a politician too. Hey, what else am I going to do? They get into politics because they couldn't earn the average salary in Congress is around $175,000 a year. A lot of people in Congress work in Congress because there's no other way they can earn $175,000 a year. They don't have any other skill. They don't have any other professional ability through which they can earn that kind of money. So that's why they get into politics. They couldn't replace that income doing anything else. I could replace that income doing something else. That's why I'm not in politics. Why would I take all the other shit that comes to being a politician just to get the 175? I can get the 175 without the other shit. And more than that. People who have other options don't go into politics. This is why it's such an outlier and so interesting when someone like Donald Trump gets into politics. Because he's like, people look at Donald Trump. Donald Trump could have stayed out of politics. He could have did his reality shows or whatever else he was doing, just run his businesses quietly and fade off into the sunset. He didn't have to get involved in politics. He took the shit sandwich of politics voluntarily. He had other options. Who else in politics can you name who had other better options besides politics and chose politics anyway? Answer is none. You can't name anyone. None of them. None of them. They might have better options after politics because of their name. They get all these business deals. The Clintons and the Obamas, they get all these options because they were in politics. Now they're famous and now you get a podcast or some shit. But could they have done that without politics? No. Will Michelle Obama have a podcast if she wasn't the first lady for 8 years? No, because nobody would care what Michelle Obama had to say. Who's Michelle Obama? No one knows who she was. That's my point. All right, see, if people know who you are without politics, why would you get into politics? So Stephen A. Smith, as of this recording, he's still throwing this thing out that he might try to run for politics. I highly doubt it. Why? Because he got a much better job working on TV than being in politics. Now, he's going to take maybe he'll take let me get some extra attention on myself for saying that I'm going to run for political office, but never actually doing it. Maybe he'll do that. I mean, I understand it. Building your brand, get more attention to yourself. Why not? We're in the attention business. But would he actually trade what he has going on working for ESPN to be a politician? I highly doubt it. Number one, he doesn't have any substance to add to the political game. He ain't Donald Trump. Number two, last I checked, he was a single man. He ain't winning no election without a wife, and he would have to shotgun a marriage, probably a fake one, in order to do that. Number three, he would get all of his life exposed, and that vetting might not be a good thing for him. And number four, I don't think he would actually win. He wouldn't win the Democratic nomination. If he runs, then there's no way the Democrats would win. By the way, if Stephen A. Smith is the Democratic nominee for 2028, then you got 4 more years of MAGA coming, at least. All right, we'll just take that. You can take that for what you can take that to the bank, as a matter of fact. Anyway, I'm bringing all that up to say people who had better options don't go into politics. Again, name someone who had better options who went into politics. They could have made more money doing something else, but they instead did politics. Name one politician for whom that's true. The only one you can name is Donald Trump, and he ain't really a politician. That's the reason that they hate him, because he's not a politician. He ain't playing the game like they put. That's the reason that they hate him. A bunch of Republicans hate Donald Trump. Why? Because he's not playing the game the way that they played it. He is not paying his dues the way that they paid. That's why they don't like him. Everybody else in politics is a politician with no better choices. I got better choices, folks. That's why I'm staying out of the game. All that being said, let's recap today's class. This is part 3 of 3. Why I'm not a politician. Number 7, limited income potential compared to entrepreneurship. Again, you lose the floor when you're an entrepreneur, but you also lose the ceiling. I'd rather lose the floor and remove the ceiling at the same time. I'll take that trade-off. Number 8, everyone is in your business. When you get into politics, you are opening yourself up to be vetted. You're going to have your whole background looked at. Every person you ever shook hands with or even made eye contact with is going to be known about. And every person you ever dealt with is going to be asked about you. And if someone wants to say some bad things about you, whether true or not, you're going to have to answer to it. It's going to be on your track record. Again, look at politicians who have the media attacking them. Look at the kind of shit they have to go through. Look at Brett Kavanaugh when he was not running, but he was getting confirmed to join the Supreme Court. Y'all saw what they did to Brett Kavanaugh? Again, was it true or was it not? We don't know, but they tried to make it seem like it was, didn't they? And this is what happens when you decide to get into politics. They will find anything they can find about you, especially your opponents, and try to make you look bad, even if they got to completely make the shit up. Number 9, logical fallacies abound. When you get into politics, there'll be a faction of people who disagree with you, and they will attack you on a personal level just because of who you are, just to try to make you look bad and to sully your name and reputation, even if they're doing it all based on a complete piece of bullshit lies. Why? Because this is the game. Why would you sign up for this game? I would not. All that said, everybody, workonyourgameuniversity.com. Work with me directly. Have me as your direct coach. Also, dreallday.com/AI. Access my Dre GPT chatbot. You want to work with me directly, get access to all of our courses, all of our trainings, everything. Start by talking to the Dre GPT chatbot, and then come over to workonyourgameuniversity.com. Have me as your coach. And let's get to work, folks. Time is wasting. And again, let's take the lid off your income potential. Don't sign up for politics. Let's sign up for putting yourself at the head of things as an entrepreneur. Workonyourgameuniversity.com. Work on your game. Dre all